It's because of the lockdown. Not League of Legends. The lockdown. Anyway, we're going to be talking about patch 10.7 Counterpicks. There are a lot of terrifying champions in the meta right now, and we're going to try helping you counter them. But before we get started, our question of the day is, what champion do you find hardest to counter? For me, personally, it's gotta be Wukong. I mean, that champ is literally a chimp, and if you play him too, then you're a chimp, and there's no arguing that because it's just true. I mean, his double clone, knock-up, deluxe combo, stealth mechanic, like what is that, right? Like, what are you thinking? Anyway, I hope you guys are following me on Instagram at Nathan_ing and on my TikTok, which is the same tag. Let's go ahead and hop right into the first pick. Our first counter pick for the top lane is Tryndamere. Tryndamere is a strong split pushing champion that relies on taking Ignite and abusing his free crit as he gets from his passive to create leads in the laning phase. What he really capitalizes on though, and what makes him such a good counter pick to top laners like Garen, Set, Mordekaiser, and Aatrox, is his ultimate, which stops him from dying. Tryndamere can just pop his ultimate and keep boiling on the enemies until they die. Garen can't execute Tryndamere, Set can't capitalize on his grip punch, and Mordekaiser has a hard time finishing Tryndamere before his own ult expires, and Aatrox can't pin down Tryndamere long enough to kill him thanks to Tryndamere's spinning dash ability. He even does well into Irelia, who runs into similar issues when she tries to burst him down. Use Tryndamere to trip up these meta top laners and then split push until you reach the Nexus. Our second top lane counter pick is Malphite. A lot of the popular top laners right now are completely allergic to Malphite on multiple fronts. Since Malphite's abilities get damage scaling off of how much armor he has, he's already a challenge for a lot of top laners to kill since they tend to be AD based. He will definitely rock their world. This is even more so the case when Malphite is up against champions that rely on Conqueror to function as well, since Malphite absolutely loves to run in early Bramblevest to nullify their healing. On top of Conqueror not returning the normal numbers it should through grievous wounds, champions like Fiora, Aatrox, and Tryndamere are twice as messed up since they're even more reliant on the natural ability to heal from their kits. Set is roughly in the same boat, and champions like Jax and Irelia, whose kits naturally help them stack up attack speed, gets countered by Malphite's E, since it drops that attack speed that they need so badly. Malphite might not have a lot of kill pressure in lane, but if you overstep your bounds trying to bully him, he'll punish you for the kill, and then he'll spend the rest of the game being an unkillable backline destroyer. Aside from the lane advantages, Malphite's ability to force plays with his ults is an easy answer to punish split pushing by engaging 5v4s. Here's a quick recap of all the builds that we mentioned on the top lane. Please take a moment and screenshot them. Our first counter jungle pick is Rengar. Rengar is one of the strongest jungle assassins in the game, and when he's not one-shotting carries, he's probably about to delete the enemy jungler instead. Echo, Elise, Zac, and Jarvan have been at the top of their tier list for a while now, and Rengar is a solid answer to all of them. The damage that he can put out with his auto-attack passive jumps, as well as the mobility it gives him, make him pretty scary to go against. Additionally, Echo and Elise rely on their CC for early skirmishes, and Rengar can just cleanse those with his empowered W so he can just keep on killing. As for Zac and Jarvan, Rengar is just too much of a beast in the early game to stay in his own jungle. If they even find themselves on the same screen as Rengar, they have to concede whatever they're working on unless they have a team to back them up. When it comes to the late game, Rengar is just great at making picks and winning fights before they can even happen, so keep your vision up and look for good picks and flanks. Our second jungle counter pick is Shyvana. Shyvana's current build path is around her AP scalings, which basically means that you want to use your Fire Breath to be as deadly as possible, and it is certainly that. AP's Shyvana's Fireball is something to behold, and its already crazy damage gets even crazier if she's farmed up Dark Harvest as well. Shyvana is a better answer to some of the scrappier jungles in the meta like Lee Sin, Jarvan, Graves, and Wukong because her Claire speed is just as fast if not better, and she gets the added benefit of being able to fight on their terms with her Quick Blast of Fire and then run away if she doesn't like that fight. That plus her inherent dragon control makes her a formidable jungler who can capitalize on any decision the enemy jungler makes. If they go top, she takes drag. If they go bot, she takes Herald. Shyvana is a fast-paced jungler who can keep up with the best of them, and even better, she has great carry potential. Go into normals and try blasting a few people with her Dragon Form's Fireball. It is incredible. Here's a quick recap of all the builds we mentioned for the jungle. Our first mid lane counter pick for 10.7 is Neeko. Neeko is a bursty AP mage, but she's unusually slippery for a champion with so much damage output in teamfights. A lot of the popular mid laners right now, like Diana, Yasuo, Vlad, and Fizz, all struggle to kill her in lane. This is partially due to the fact that they lack her range, and when they try to force a fight on her, she can just use her E to keep them still and then just walk away, or just use her W to make an escape. Up until that point, she's probably barraging them with Qs and auto attacks to wear them down, and as a last line of defense, her ult is a giant circle of damage that shields her and locks down her enemies. Neeko is also a pretty good roaming champion on account of her wave clear, and you can even make some sneaky plays with her disguise passive if you get creative enough. Our second mid lane counter pick is Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser is a mid lane AP juggernaut who does particularly well in matchups against squishier champions that fail to burst them, especially when those champions are melee. For that reason, Mordekaiser is a potent choice for dealing with Yasuo, Diana, Zed, and Sylas. If they're in range to attack Mord, they're in range to get smacked by his mace, and odds are they won't break through his shield before he breaks through their spirits. Mord is also a good choice to Vladimir, however, since you can also weather his trades and even clobber him with the well-placed claw and mace combo. Plus, if you ult him out of teamfights, he can't just dive your backline. Having an ace up your sleeve is okay, but having this mace up your sleeve is a little bit better. Here's a quick recap of all the builds that we mentioned in the mid lane. Tristana is our first counter pick for the bot lane in patch 10.7. Tristana is a late game hyper carry that excels in putting out DPS with her Q's attack speed steroid, taking objectives with her E, and repositioning with her W's jump. She can even peel for herself with her ult, and self-peel is always nice on carries. Her passive is what makes her so formidable in the late game though, since she receives an increase in her attack range every time that she levels up. She's just very safe and very high damage, which makes her an excellent answer to Ezreal's and Kai'Sa we're seeing so much of. Neither of them can punish her in lane when she's at her weakest with her short range, and her scaling is just as good if not better than theirs since she ends up being able to auto attack from a mile away. Plus, if you pair her with an aggressive support like Leona, her all-in potential during the lane phase can let her snowball a lead on unsuspecting bot laners. Draven is our second bot lane counter pick. In the current meta, a lot of ADCs just want to sit in the lane and farm and scale into their late game power spikes. Draven, on the other hand, wants to square the heck up. Ezreal, Kai'Sa, and Jinx aren't allowed just to stand around collecting gold. Draven packs too much of a punch and too much early aggression to allow that. He's perhaps the only ADC that can go blow for blow with Lucian's early trades, and even Caitlyn's long gun of the law isn't long range enough to keep her safe from Draven. Oh, and don't even think about picking Kalista into Draven. You'll just get run down by his W, have your passive movement speed messed up with his E's knockback, and you'll just catch access to the head while he's catching him for his passive. Draven's just such an effective lane bully and it's almost impossible to fight him, but standing back while he zones you off your CS isn't exactly an appealing option either. So be a Dravener and not a Dravenee and punish those squishy hyper carries. Here's a quick recap for all the builds that we mentioned for ADC. Last but not least, we're going over our supports. Our first one is Set. Set is a juggernaut that loves being in the thick of the fight. His movement speed and attack speed steroids on his Q make him a great and potent brawler. His W gives him a huge burst of damage and protection, and his E is a great way to follow up and catch enemies off guard with the multi-man stun after he ults a target into the back line. Set is a good answer for the most popular engaged champions right now, like Thresh, Nautilus, Blitz, and Pyke. All of them rely on bringing unwilling enemies into fights that go poorly for them, but there is no such thing as a bad close-range fight for Set in the bot lane right now. Set's primary weakness as a juggernaut is that he has trouble making fights happen and sticking to enemies. But when a Blitz or a Pyke is kind enough to do the hard work for him and bring them towards the carry, then that weakness is no longer a factor. Set is exactly where he wants to be. After all, he can't beat the crap out of them if he can't get closer. Our last pick on the list and support pick number 2 is Karma. Karma is a well-rounded champion that has a handful of tricks, and knowing when to use each facet of her tool is essential to dominating games. Her Q is a solid poke to harass enemies in lane, her W is a tethered CC that punishes anyone who gets too close, and her E gives her the movement speed she needs to be evasive and kite targets out for her hit and run style of gameplay. Karma is such a great answer to picks like Leona, Thresh, and Pyke, because not only can she bully them out with her Q, but they also have very telegraphed attack patterns, so the movement speed on Karma comes in extra clutch for dodging their engaged skill shots. Morgana is kind of in the same boat against Karma, especially since Karma can just sling out damage faster than Morgana can spell shield it. She's a lane dominant support, and even in the late game, her empowered abilities can be game changing for picks or team fights. As an AD carry myself, I am never opposed to good Karma. And finally, here's a recap for all the builds that we mentioned for supports. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content such as this. If you want to climb the League of Legends ladder, then make sure you check out proguides.com as we can set you up with a coach. And if you're missing those online classes, then we got some League of Legends classes for you, and those are just better than, math. I said math, not meth. I don't know. League of Legends classes are both better than meth and math. Anyway, what am I even saying? I hope you guys stay healthy. I hope you guys stay safe. I hope you guys aren't doing meth and doing math. And I'll see you guys in the comment section down below and on the Rift.